We continue to bring you some insight ahead of the State of the Nation address. Joining us now for most of the show, of course, we will be bringing in a governance expert and also taking a look at some of the important factors when it comes to the State of the Nation address. Professor Sethulego Matebesi from the University of the Free State also on the line, joining us to talk about some of the crucial factors when it comes to what South Africans are eager to hear. And will Ramaphosa, of course, he'll have to probably summon all of his gravitas to present a fairly honest assessment of the many challenges government face. Very good morning to you, Prof. Thank you for your time. What do you imagine will be the outcome of the State of the Nation address? Because some experts are saying that it's unlikely to be an upbeat one.
Hi, good morning, Mpho, and good morning to South Africans. I actually want to start off by making use of your last statement about honesty. The problem is, even if you look at the post-democratic dispensation in South Africa, in most instances, our president has been very, I would even say brutally honest about highlighting the challenges. And but our pause there, because there are serious doubts when it comes to taking action or the implementation part of that. And one thing that I can highlight, we are facing a mammoth task here in terms of corruption. And I know perhaps there is an expectation that the South African public should get tired about this narrative that is, rampant corruption, which is actually robbing this country from doing the right things. And the question is, why are we still battling to fight something as basic as this? Because if a 10 rand is missing, the simplest, the most basic thing that needs to be done is to hold those who have legally been provided the responsibility to oversee public funds. Action should be taken against them. But definitely there's absolutely no political will. And for me, it will be once again those public relations exercises where the government will pat itself on the back of some of the things that have gone right. And there are many. Just the other day, I drove through Bloemfontein, and just to see how many people are benefiting from free primary health care and all that. But that, and it ends there. And for me, it will still be, yes, an opportunity for the president, perhaps to allay fears, but I think South Africans are definitely tired of hearing the same thing without seeing any tangible changes taking place wherever they are living.
You speak about the importance of scrutinizing the honesty element of this conversation, as some will admit that although SONA will touch on many real issues in an honest way, but to a certain extent, perhaps it should be viewed as the opinion of a president whose job is perhaps on the line. Not only his job, on behalf of a political party that can also be referred to in the same way.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the president is facing many challenges from within his own political party, but also from South Africans. And we all know that even if you have to try and balance the two out, we all know that the internal strife within the African National Congress has a huge impact on how government operates, and to a large extent, how our president will, face certain challenges or deal with certain challenges. We are in an elected conference here of the African National Congress, and we all know, we've seen with service delivery protests and what we as academics call community protests, because we do believe that there are actually other influences, and you can't just say it's a service delivery protest, that people in an election year uses that to try and bargain with the government. And I strongly believe that those elements who've got their knives out for the president is definitely going to use this. And now a president with an aspiration for a second term will definitely tread cautious. But treading cautious will also mean throwing integrity and honesty out of the window, all for the sake of trying to, achieve or, at least get that attention. And that is a challenge that we currently have. And it's going to be a year. We've seen, immediately after the release of the Zondo Commission, the first report what happened in South Africa. And I mean, for the mere fact that we are going to have our SONA being delivered outside of Parliament and other events, incidences that happened afterwards, it clearly indicates that the state is under attack, but the president is under tremendous pressure. And I've said it several times that we've got somebody that most of us thought that he had made his billions, and you will at least put the aspirations of South Africans first. But unfortunately, the president also has a lot on his plate in terms of dealing with the internal strife in the ANC at the expense of basic service delivery and good governance.
You make an interesting point there when you speak to the internal matters within the ANC and the sort of impact and pressure that may have on the president. But also looking back to what he said in 2021 as he reiterated on his belief system and his vision, especially focusing on the Constitution, saying that he believes that our Constitution must be more than words on a page. It must be a reality in the lives of our people. Unless we do so, the document will be rendered irrelevant and meaningless. I mean, looking at especially the impact of the July unrest and the relevance of this belief system spoken by the president last year as he delivered the State of the Nation address, what sort of feelings will he be expected to evoke as he sits to the podium this evening?
Yes, once again, the president would have to take the South African public into confidence that this will never happen again. But we've seen that happening already. I mean, I've just highlighted a few incidences that happened this year. And the issue of the July unrest, it's not only about that. I mean, it has wider implications. If you look at the slogan of the president's Tuma Mina, he was willing to take over the baton from what has been described as 9 wasted years. But it is still very difficult for the president or for some of us to see that formidable, tangible action being taken against, people who are still implicated in corruption. If you have an intelligence service which most of the times is found wanting, then one can also ask ourselves, because this is security matters is definitely also one of the pinnacles of our constitution. And the question is, even if you look at the safety, just in general in the country, South Africans are scared. South Africans are trapped within their own households. You can go and read. I mean, I haven't read any newspaper this morning or watched the news, but I know there would have been a murder somewhere. And these are the kind of things that I strongly believe that relates to what happened in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng last year in July. And the president would have to indicate to South Africans going forward, how are we going to deal with these horrendous acts which seems to continue unabated in the country, because you can't have a country, a democratic country, which prides itself having people in the caliber of Nelson Mandela who died for what we are enjoying today, that people are actually feeling trapped within their own households.
Very well. Professor Sethulego Matebesi, governance expert, thank you so much for joining us and giving us that sound analysis.